So far, we've created React components which are interactive but look quite unaesthetic. Now we're going to learn more about styling in React. In React, style definitions are usually located close to the component definition in which they are needed. Common possibilities would be putting them into a CSS file with the same base name as the corresponding JSX file, putting style declarations at the top of component definition files, or using inline style declarations inside the component template. When declaring styles in separate CSS files, we will usually have one CSS file per component. And some global styling can go into a file named index.css. In order to include the CSS declarations, we will import them from their corresponding component declaration files. This tells bundlers like Webpack to include them in the final bundle. One common structure that we can use when naming our CSS classes is to separate them into blocks, which in React would usually mean components, elements, which would be sub-elements of blocks, and modifiers, which could modify a specific block or element. In the code example here, we see one block named to-do item. There's also a modifier that can create the class name to-do item -- completed. And there are two sub-elements, to-do item under title and to-do item under checkbox. There is some available tooling that can help further with stylesheets in React. There are some npm packages that can be used for joining class name strings. And we can make use of CSS modules for scoped CSS rules. Rules which only apply to the contents of one specific React component. I won't go into more depth on these right now, but keep in mind that these can be very helpful tools for the future. In contrast to external style sheets, it's also possible to write style declarations inside the same JavaScript file as the component declarations. This is called CSS-in-JS. Options for this approach could be: the basic solution would be to use the style property in JSX. However, this has some downsides and will usually not be the main styling solution in a project. Also, there are styling libraries that can declare styles inside JavaScript. For example, the libraries Emotion or Styled Components. Here we see the basic styling solution that makes use of the style property in JSX. We see that in JSX we can assign a JavaScript object that contains styling declarations to the style property. Here I could define the container style and image style further up in the component file and use them inside the JSX template. And as a preview, here's how styling could be applied via Emotion, which is an external library. As an exercise, you can work on an image slideshow and add some more styles to it. A result could look and behave like this. I will link to a potential starting point and to a finished result in the comments. You can try and reproduce what you see here, or you can just come up with your own styling based on your CSS skills. This course will not go deeper into CSS itself. If you're still learning CSS, I would recommend doing some more exercises after you've gotten to know JSX better, where you improve your JSX and your CSS skills by building simple components with styling. For this exercise, I would recommend you use mainly external CSS files and CSS classes. But also familiarize yourself with using the style property. If you have come up with a styled solution, you can share it in the comments of this video.